What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Betty Chen with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's military is shrinking. More than 10% of the country's forces have retired in just the past 5 years. Now Taiwan is doubling its efforts to enhance the combat readiness and is finding ways to entice a new generation of soldiers. Namewee has the details.
As tensions with China continue to rise, Taiwan seeks to enhance the combat readiness of its troops. But a recent military report revealed that in the past 5 years, almost half of its soldiers have applied for early discharge. The report says the reasons include long work hours and not being able to apply their training in the field. Officials are looking to address the issues. Taiwan is considering extending military service from 4 months to a year. The war in Ukraine has made the country reevaluate its combat readiness. Taiwan also plans to recruit an additional 47,000 troops, expanding the military by 25%. And to do that, Taiwan will need to rearrange its troops.
未来的义务役可能，比如说，在一个旅里面，可能就是一个补充兵营，或2个补充兵营，这样子就是专门是义务役的部分。这样子，我想可以让整个单位的就是战力跟那个干部的负担会减轻。
As Taiwan continues to bolster its combat readiness, it hopes to usher in a new wave of soldiers and better protect its sovereignty. Chris Ma and Namewee for TaiwanPlus.
The Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, is set to visit Taiwan on Sunday. It will be one of the highest-profile visits from Washington in recent years. Japan's Fuji News Network says Pelosi will travel to Taipei after a meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Tokyo. The Taiwan leg of the trip is expected to replace a planned stop in South Korea. The speaker is second in line to the U.S. presidency following the vice president. The last sitting House Speaker to visit Taiwan was Newt Gingrich in 1997. Sunday also marks the 43rd anniversary of Washington's implementation of the Taiwan Relations Act. The legislation has served as a framework for U.S.-Taiwan ties after the two countries broke off formal diplomatic relations more than 40 years ago. If China attacks Taiwan, it could face sanctions from the United States, like the ones the U.S. has imposed on Russia. That's what U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen suggested at a recent congressional hearing. The United States on Wednesday announced new sanctions against Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. They include a ban on American investments and blocks on the country's largest banks. Washington is also seeking to remove Russia from the U.S. Human Rights Council and the G20. At a congressional hearing on the same day, the Treasury Secretary responded to a question about Taiwan, saying that she would be open to adopting similar measures in other situations.
Am I to hear from you that you're open to all tools available in the event that China moves aggressively towards Taiwan?
Absolutely. I believe we've shown that we can. In the case of Russia, we threatened significant consequences. We've imposed significant consequences. And I think that you should not doubt our ability and resolve to do the same in other situations.
Taiwan has joined a number of countries imposing economic sanctions on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. 57 products are now banned for export to Russia, including semiconductors and telecoms equipment. Taiwan announced in February that it would join global efforts banning the export of goods for military use to Russia. Moscow put Taiwan on a list of 48 countries or territories deemed unfriendly following the announcement. In 2021, Taiwan's exports to Russia amounted to $1.3 billion, less than 1% of the country's total exports. You think your family is big? Well, let me tell you about the Ye family in Taoyuan, northern Taiwan. Every year for the Tomb Sweeping Festival, thousands of them gather at a family mausoleum. Our reporter Eric Gao joined them this year to see how they're coping with COVID.
Just west of Taipei, this crowd of thousands has come together in this mausoleum for the annual Qingmingjie, or the Tomb Sweeping Festival, when people across the Chinese-speaking world visit the graves of their ancestors to pay their respects. Everyone here is part of the Ye family. It's been 15 generations since they first arrived in Taiwan, and the tradition is still going strong.
因为我们所有的祖先的骨骸都放在这边，都没有外流出去的，所以说我们所有的子孙到清明扫墓绝对都会往回来我们这里扫墓。我们287年以来都是这样子。
It's the largest single-family event in Taiwan, and relatives come from all over to participate. Before COVID travel restrictions, they would return from abroad as well. The event is so big that the local mayor comes to pay his respects every year.
这个是我们无形的资产，那也代表我们对于先祖开发这块土地一份感怀。这个地方也是我们一个很重要的文化地标。
This year's tomb sweeping came as the local pandemic situation worsened, with concerns that it could spread further over the long holiday weekend.
Even in the midst of Taiwan's current COVID-19 outbreak, with over 100 domestic cases being recorded every day, so many members of the Ye family came out to pay their respects to their common ancestors. In the years before the pandemic, this entire area would be full of the Ye family.
COVID restrictions in 2020 meant only a handful of people were allowed to come. That number expanded to about 100 in 2021. This year, the limitations were eased so long as participants followed safety measures.
今年我们就说疫情有比较缓和了，缓和就是有打2剂以上的，我们就可以来自由参拜。
Even with these precautions, some Ye family members chose to avoid the crowds and came after the main ceremony earlier in the day. Traditionally, all family members are meant to attend that group worship.
因为已经2年了，所以今年开放给大家轮流，大家按照自己方便的时间，然后就找个时间过来拜拜，也不要跟大家一起有群聚的状况出现。
Before the pandemic, over 8,000 Ye family members would come together for tomb sweeping. When travel restrictions are lifted, organizers hope to one day set a Guinness World Record for the biggest single-family tomb sweeping ceremony.
有往这个方向，因为要上万人的时候才能破金氏纪录。
As Taiwan moves to living with COVID-19, the Ye family could see more people attending the event next year, pushing them closer to that world record goal. James Rayner, Ken Ning, and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
YouTube has restored the hacked channel of Malaysian singer-songwriter Namewee. When a page went down on Monday, he lost more than 1,000 videos, some with well over 100 million views. Now he's vowing to, quote, keep speaking up for freedom. Ken Ning has more.
Famous for being vocal on social issues, Malaysian singer Namewee said he was prepared and not surprised by the hack of his account. One of his most popular songs is Fragile, which China banned after some accused him of insulting China and the Chinese people in it. That song racked up more than 10 million hits within its first week online.
那对我来说，越敏感的就代表他越需要被讨论。那如果他就是因为他有这样的问题在，他才会敏感。 那如果我们没有人去提出来，那个问题永远就会在那边。
At one point on Tuesday, there was only an error message on Namewee's official YouTube account. The title of his channel was changed to an obscene phrase in Russian, and all of his videos erased. Suspecting the hack was done by a Russian, Namewee has made a video cursing at the hacker in Russian and exclaiming his support for Ukraine.
And we support Ukraine.
Although Namewee's YouTube account has been restored, the video against the hack remains pinned on his Facebook. Rick Yi, Eugene Huang, and Ken Ning for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. I'm Betty Chen. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we'll leave you with images of more than 163 species of animals released back into the wild in Colombia. Take care and see you next time.